Sanibonani Nonke. With this Zulu greeting, I welcome you to our second video stream from the 17th Conference of the Parties of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change here in Durban, South Africa. The first day, as always, was, and we reported about that, we had the opening sessions, the opening ceremony, and the opening of the COP and the MOP. This is usually a day that is dominated by political statements and sets the tone for the entire 2 weeks. As we discussed yesterday, it wasn't too bad. The agenda wasn't really adopted, but people were able to proceed. The second day is when negotiators roll up their sleeves and really get to work. And then immediately on the second day, the agenda becomes very, very big and a lot of things are happening. And in order for you to follow me with that and better understand how this works in Durban, I decided to bring you today the daily program from yesterday. And I'll run you through so you better understand what actually happened yesterday and how complicated this COP gets once it had started on the second day. This is a 22 pages document, which is quite elaborate, and the first 11 pages are the actual agenda. We kicked off yesterday the subsidiary body for implementation, the ad hoc working group for long-term cooperative actions, and the long-term ad hoc working group for under the Kyoto Protocol. Key issues there to be discussed were national communications on greenhouse gas inventories, which is really about targets of developed countries, and national communications from parties not included in Annex 1, which is really about monitoring, reporting and verifying emissions and emission inventories of developing countries. And we'll talk about this a little bit later. And if you see here, there's quite a lot of agenda items here, and just this SBI has altogether 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages, 3.5 pages of agenda items, 16 altogether, and some of them are even broken down into sub-agenda items. And the way this works from now on is that each of those agenda items will become a contact group, and in the contact group, the negotiators that are country experts on those particular issues, for example, on procedures or on development and transfer of technologies. There are dedicated negotiators that have been working on this issue for quite a long time, and they are being dedicated by the country to negotiate this, and they will come together in those contact groups. You get a room allocated to it, and a separate agenda allocated to it, and the issues will be discussed there by the experts with the goal of, by the middle of the second week, to prepare a final text, a final draft that then can be adopted at the end of this COP as a decision of the COP. Here, what is important and really helpful, if you can download this at unfccc.int, you will see a number of documents, or in brackets underneath the agenda items, a reference number, which, for example, might read like FCC SBI 2001/INF.1 and so forth. And that is the name of the document that is currently the draft on the basis of which the countries negotiate. You can nowadays download those on the website, and if you find anything particularly interesting to you and important to your business, you might want to follow it by every day using this daily program, identifying the latest version of the text, and then reading the text. And of course, you can always try to contact us, and if you have any questions, we're happy to explain it here from the ground. Then on this daily program, on the agenda, you find information about other meetings of observer organizations, for example. You have a schedule for meetings, for example, of the youth non-governmental organizations, the bingos, the business non-governmental organizations, and other NGOs that also come together here in Durban. There's a list of press briefings that take place, and then from page 11 onwards, a very technical issue that always is an issue that sometimes even can become contentious, which is discussions about who is going to be serving in the next year on various bodies of the COP and the MOP, who is going to be represented there. And that is being discussed between governments because each regional group, like Eastern Europe and other groups, 5 regional groups under the UNFCCC, actually have the chance to nominate their individuals to be elected by the end of the COP. And that's really how this is going to be run for the next 8 or 9 days. We have the agenda. Every morning we'll have to look at the daily program. We have to find out what's going to happen. We'll identify whether the last text that we looked at last night has been updated by looking at this daily program. And then you can pick and choose the topics that you're focusing on, and you can follow this even if you're not here in Durban, and with hopefully a little bit of help from our video stream, and identify the key issues and be able able to follow it. But we're actually following about 50 issues while we're here on the ground, because that is the 50 key issues that are being discussed. Now, on what is really running the COP at the moment, what is keeping the parties busy. Yesterday we heard a lot of political statements, mainly about targets on the one side and what are the mitigation actions and the monitoring reporting obligations of developing countries. This seems to be the overshadowing issue for this COP again. The big question is, will the parties be able to agree some kind of compromise in agreeing new targets, and what is the future of the Kyoto Protocol? And that is, of course, as I said yesterday, it will take a few days until we find out and really can substantially report from this COP where people are coming together and what the consensus could be at the end of the COP. Movement is here. A lot of things are happening, as you might find out from this blog. And we'll definitely report tomorrow. Please stay tuned. If you have any questions, please contact us either in London or here on site in Durban. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you very much.